So yes, we are recording it, and we might have to re-record it without any technical glitches. So she's getting hers logged back in again. I wish I like had a talent so that I could do for you guys right now, like juggle something or tap dance. Yes, we are going to record this. I just started it. Okay, hold on, guys, real quick. Let me go see what I can do to help Miss Johnson's computer start listening to us.
All right, remember everybody, tomorrow for Mental Health Awareness Week, remember tomorrow we have wear fitness clothes or sports clothes to school. Physical activity promotes positive mental well-being. So remember, you can wear fitness clothes tomorrow if you would like.
Running clothes?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Can I run running clothes?
Yes, you can wear fitness clothes. Sure.
All right, looks like we may be on the path now. We had to do a lot of thinking with Miss Johnson's laptop, and she is back in the meeting, and she's getting her sharing screen ready so that, yes, we can see it again. Yay! Give me a thumbs up if you guys can see Miss Johnson's art sharing.
Yay!
Yay! All right, thank you guys for being so patient.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm so sorry about that. I have no idea what happened, but we figured it out and we're back. That's all that matters. So all we've done so far is we've drawn a couple lines on our canvas, just like you see on your screen there. So we have one line here, and then we started the foot and we drew some half circles for the feet. Now let's keep going. We're gonna draw a nice curved line up like this, and we're gonna stop right there. And it kind of curves up a little bit at the top, okay? Now we're gonna come to the top of our canvas, and we're gonna do a nice big U shape, and it's gonna come all the way down.
Miss Johnson. I hear you on your phone. Elijah, ow! Elijah, stop.
Okay, guys, just remember, put your little hand up, and we need to be careful about unmuting ourselves because I think you all heard that ugly sound. So we have to be very careful when we start unmuting, and just relax and try to follow along with her. And if you mess up, there's no messing up in art. I think that's a saying, maybe, I don't know. But we are recording it too, so we'll send it out to your parents if you want to. Maybe you just want to watch today and then just watch her do it, and then later on you can do it yourselves if it's going too fast for you. Okay.
All right, let's get started. I will pause a little bit in between and ask for questions, but let's keep moving for now. So we started with a big upside down U shape, and it came down in front of the line that we drew earlier, and we did a little loop-de-loop at the end. Now what we're going to do is draw a straight line from the end of our original line. And then we're going to go all the way back and follow that loop-de-loop and meet where our last line ended on the other side. Okay. And now from here, we're going to draw a big elephant ear. So we're going to do a big elephant ear like that. And then we're going to draw an eye. And then this eye on the elephant is going to be closed. So we're going to do a long U shape. And then we're going to draw some straight lines coming from that. And that is our elephant's eyelash. Now, don't worry about your pencil marks too much. We're going to paint right over all of this, and you're not going to be able to see anything. So don't worry about drawing perfectly to start. Now, the last thing we're going to draw is a straight line right through the middle of our loop-de-loop. And then we're going to draw a flower. So we'll start with a circle, and then we'll draw our petals of our flower. You can draw whatever kind of flower you want to draw here. It doesn't have to be exactly like Miss Johnson's flower. Okay? All right. That's all we're going to do with our pencil. You can put your pencil down. We no longer need our pencil. Before I move on, are there any questions? Remember, your drawing does not have to look exactly like mine. These are your own personal masterpieces. Everyone's is going to be a little bit different. All right, if there's no questions, let's go ahead and move on. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. You're going to need your paintbrush and the yellow paint. A paintbrush and the yellow paint. And all we're going to do is we're going to take our yellow paint and we are going to paint the entire canvas yellow. The entire thing, even going over our pencil marks. Use nice long brush strokes going all the way back and forth across your canvas. Make sure you get paint evenly all the way across your canvas.
I have a question.
What is your question?
Like, do we first put water on our paintbrush?
No, you don't have to put water on your paintbrush. This is not watercolor. It is called tempera paint. Tempera paint doesn't need water. Good question, though. So I'm just painting my entire canvas yellow, doing long brush strokes going back and forth.
Did we have a question? Are we good? I think we're good. You're just painting across, left to right, just all over everything. Use that yellow.
Kind of relaxing just to paint the whole thing, going back and forth in the nice same direction. All right, once you feel like you have your whole canvas painted, you're going to take your yellow paintbrush and you're going to wipe the excess paint on the edge of your yellow paint cup. Put the lid back on the yellow and then set the yellow paint off to the side. We don't need it anymore. Now, if you still have a little bit of yellow paint on your paintbrush, this is where you can dip your paintbrush in the water a little bit to get some of that extra paint off, and then dry your paintbrush with your paper towel. And you don't have to get all of the yellow off. It's okay if that happens.
Slow down a little bit.
I think she wants you to slow down just a little bit. Thank you.
Slow down. Oh, yes. I'm going to pause here for a little bit. We're not going to move on past this. I'm going to give you about a minute or so to have your whole background painted yellow.
All right, boys and girls, remember you need to wash your brush too and get it ready for the next color. So if you don't need to worry about getting a ton of paint on that canvas, so go ahead and start washing your brush now. So you're ready for the next part. You don't fall behind.
All righty, let's go ahead and move on to the very next step. So I have a paper towel at my side here. You should be able to see it in my screen. I have my painting on one side and my paper towel on the other. We need to take a little bit of our white paint and mix it with a very small amount of our black paint. Does anyone know what color we would get when we mix black and white together?
Black.
Gray. Yes, you get gray. So watch Miss Johnson very carefully, okay? So I'm going to get my white paint.
It's gray.
And I'm going to use my paintbrush, and I'm going to get a pretty big amount of the white paint onto my paper towel, okay? I got a pretty good amount on there. Now with the black, you only need a very little amount of black. So I'm going to get a little bit of black. Look at super small amounts, and I'm going to mix it in with my white. If you put too much black, it's just going to look really dark, and we don't want it to be super dark. We just want a nice gray. This looks pretty good. I think I have a really nice gray going on my paper towel. So now we're going to take this gray and you're going to paint just your elephants. Just your elephants. So all of those lines that we drew, we are going to paint with the gray. And go ahead and cover up all of those lines that we drew. Don't worry about them. We will go back over them with other colors at
I have
the
a question.
Yes.
Do we gotta paint the whole thing?
You're just painting the elephant. So just the elephant that we drew. You're gonna
Okay.
paint the elephant gray, just like you see on your screen. I'm carefully painting in the lines that we drew for the elephant. You're going to be doing the same exact thing.
Can you pause for a second? I'm gonna go get a plate to put the gray paint on.
I'm not going to be able to pause, but I'm painting my elephant pretty slowly, so you'll have time. Don't you worry.
Okay.
Go ahead, Elena. Go ahead and go get that.
So I'm very slowly and carefully painting in my elephant.
Miss Johnson,
Yes.
do we also paint over the elephant's nails?
Yes, you're gonna paint over everything. Just like you see what I'm doing in my example, you're gonna do the same thing in yours. You're even gonna come all the way down here and paint the elephant's long nose. What's the elephant's long nose actually called? Does anyone know?
Miss Johnson,
Yes.
I can't see your screen. I was called a trumpet.
It's called a trumpet. That's the kind of sound an elephant makes. It kind of sounds like a trumpet, huh?
I can't see your screen.
You can't see my screen?
Okay.
You might have to try leaving the Zoom and come back.
The elephant's nose is called a trunk.
A trunk. Thank you so much. You guys are so smart. Here I am trying to call it a nose. So now when you come down here and you do this loop-de-loop, try your best to stay inside those lines that you drew. But you know what? If you go outside the lines a little bit, that's okay. That's what's fun about art. You get to do whatever you want, and no one can tell you it's wrong because it's your own masterpiece. I'm turning my brush sideways, and that's kind of helping me paint the smaller portion of my elephant.
Miss Johnson,
Beautiful. Yes,
I have a question.
I might have an answer.
How do we put our camera on?
Okay, I think you're on your school iPad. So at the bottom, there should be a little, maybe on the bottom left, it says, oh, it's on the top. Okay, maybe it's on the top. It should say start video. And that should get your camera on. Start video.
All right, you guys, I'm going to give you a couple minutes to finish painting in your elephant. If there are any other questions, now would be the time. If you're done painting your elephant, just hang tight. We're gonna wait a couple minutes, but you can put the lid on the white paint and then put the lid on the black paint. We will need those again later. So just set it off to the side for now. I'm done with the gray on my brush. So I'm gonna dip my brush in the water to get some of that extra gray paint off. Okay, and then I'm going to use my paper towel to wipe off any extra paint that there might be. And don't worry if there's still a little bit of white or gray paint on your brush. It's not gonna hurt anything later.
I also just want to remind everybody, we are going to record this and we'll send the link to your parents. And if you got in late, like a couple of you I noticed got in a little bit late, and if you're very confused, you can just watch right now and then watch the video again later. Or maybe you have another canvas at home and you want to try it again. Feel free to watch it later.
Hey, Ms. Johnson, what if you used your gray and you may have messed up. I'm just asking for a friend.
What do you mean? What do you mean you messed up? Where did you mess up?
Like, let's say the loop has a lot of the yellow looking gray right now.
That's okay.
It didn't happen to
Maybe
me, I'm just saying.
they
Allegedly.
have a bigger tusk and the hole in the middle isn't as noticeable. That's okay. We're gonna paint in the middle of it with some black anyways.
Perfect. For a friend.
Always for a friend. You're very kind for asking for your friends.
Thank you.
Thank you, friend.
You're welcome.
Miss Johnson, what do we do with the gray paint?
If you have a lot of extra gray paint, don't worry. I kind of had a lot of extra gray paint as well. Just leave it there. You're gonna throw it away later. It's not that big of a deal. There shouldn't have been too much paint on your paper towel anyways. I just folded my paper towel with that gray paint so I don't get it anywhere else. And now I'm gonna use the back side of my paper towel. But no worries, we only needed a little bit, just enough to fill our elephant in. My gray came out a little bit light. I wish I would have put a little bit more black in it, but that's okay. However it's coming out, it doesn't matter. It's gonna be beautiful and it's gonna be your beautiful masterpiece. I'm gonna give you 1 more minute to finish painting in your elephant. 1 more minute.
Miss Johnson?
Yes.
So like, you know, like there's different kinds of paintings. Like some are like artists like have paint and then like they make lines and they feel bumpy. I'm doing that right now.
Yeah, that's kind of the fun thing about tempera paint and acrylic paint, and especially oil paint. Sometimes if you put a lot of paint on your canvas and you let it dry and you can see it kind of lumpy, later when it's dry, you can actually feel the texture of the paint. It's going to be really cool. Good observation. Good observation.
I got a question.
Yes.
My brother's painting the elephant, but he's not done with it yet.
That's okay. We have like 30 more seconds. And even if he doesn't finish it before we move on, you can watch the video again later and you can pause it and slowly go at your own pace. But he has about 30 more seconds. Don't you worry.
Okay. I have a question.
Yes.
My accident went over the line.
That's okay. I went over all of my lines too. Lines are just a guide. They don't have to mean you can't escape the lines. They're just a guide to help you with where your paint should be close to ending. But don't worry, it's okay if you went over your lines. I went over mine too.
Okay.
Okay, there's a couple of people in the chat who said they just came in about 5 minutes ago. So I would recommend that you just watch right now and we will send the link out to your parents again of the whole video so that you can go ahead and paint from the beginning, because it might be kind of hard to jump in right now. We don't have time to start at the beginning. So don't worry, you will get the full video later. And I think we're about ready to move on.
Perfect. Let's start the next step. We are going to let's start with the color red. So I'm going to get my red paint and I'm going to open up my red paint. All we're going to do right now is paint our flower. And I think I'm going to use the red, green, and blue to paint my flower, but I'm going to start with the color red. So I'm going to get my paintbrush, get a little bit of red on the very tip of my paintbrush, and I'm going to paint one of my petals red.
Do we have to paint it red?
No, if you prefer to use the color green, you can use green, you can use blue. I'm going to use all 3 colors. I'm going to paint each petal a different color. So I'm starting with the color red, and I'm picking a couple petals to paint with red. I think I'm gonna do these 3. Now remember, yours might look a little different from mine, and that's okay. These are your masterpieces. All right, I think I'm good with the red. So I'm gonna put my cap back on my red paint, set the red off to the side. I don't need it anymore. And then I'm gonna wipe the red off my brush in my water.
Miss Johnson?
Yes,
Okay.
do you have a question?
With the green, I accidentally put the green on the gray, on the trunk.
That's okay, no worries. Mistakes means you are learning. Mistakes mean you are learning. Don't you worry about it. Okay, so now I'm gonna get the color blue and I'm gonna keep painting my petals different colors. Now, if you only want to use blue and paint your whole flower blue, you can do that. It is completely up to you, however you want to paint your flower. I think I'm good with the blue, so I'm going to put the lid back on the blue. Set that off to the side. Wash my paintbrush in the water and then dry it on my paper towel. Now I'm not getting all the blue off my paintbrush. That's okay. I'm not worried about it right now. Now I'm gonna get my green and I've got 2 petals left. So I'm gonna paint my last 2 petals green. Now you also have the center of your flower. Maybe you wanna paint the center of your flower green, or maybe you wanna paint the center of your flower blue, or maybe red. Maybe when you paint your petals, some of I can't say words correctly tonight. Maybe sometimes the color mixes together. That's okay. You might get a pretty color when they mix together. My blue and green kind of mix together a little bit right here, but I think it looks pretty. I'm not worried about it. All right, I'm done with my green. I put the lid back on my green. And then I'm washing my paintbrush in the water. And then I'm drying my paintbrush on my paper towel. All right, I'm gonna give you a couple seconds to finish painting your flower.
I actually put the red in, the green in the red.
That's okay. I'm sure it's making a beautiful color.
Still, it's the principal.
Miss Johnson.
Yes.
My screen is glitching.
Your screen is glitching. I'm not sure why it might be doing that, but if you want to leave the Zoom and come back, maybe it won't do that anymore, but it shouldn't be doing that. Don't forget, if for some reason you're having some technology issues, just like I had at the beginning of the session, this is being recorded, so you will be able to watch it at a later time if you're having problems. Don't forget that, okay? You can always go back and re-watch and finish it up on your own time. All righty, let's start to move on. I'm gonna get my white paint again, and we're gonna paint the toenails of our elephant white. So I'm opening up my white, and I'm gonna get a little bit of white paint on the tip of my paintbrush. And I'm gonna come down here and repaint those half circles that we had. So we had 1 half circle, 2 half circles, and 3 half circles. We're also going to take a little tiny bit of white and put it at the very end of the elephant's tusk. So I have a little bit of white down on the toenails and a little bit of white on the end of what I was calling the elephant's nose.
What is the elephant's nose called?
I believe someone said it was called a tusk.
It's called a trunk.
A trunk, I'm sorry. The tusk is the male elephant's big horns that come out.
Yeah.
A trunk. Miss Johnson's making up names.
Correction, their teeth.
They're teeth, but they're called tusks, right?
Miss Johnson.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
but they're like overgrown molars.
Oh my gosh, that sounds scary. Yes, is there a question?
Awkward. I came back and now it's not glitching anymore.
Oh, perfect. I'm so glad to hear that. All right, you guys. Now we're going to use the color black. Now, when you're using the color black, you want to be very careful. Black will easily leave marks on your canvas that is really hard to get off. It's really hard to paint over the color black. So we want to be careful with the black and only put the black in the places that Miss Johnson is asking you to put the black. That's why we saved black for last. We aren't going to have to paint anything else, just the last couple details with black, okay? Now, I didn't paint the center of my flower any color, so I'm going to paint the center of my flower black. If you already painted the center of your flower, don't worry about it. But Miss Johnson needs to paint the center of her flower, and I'm going to go with the color black. I think because I used a lot of different colors, it's going to help my flower pop out really nicely. Okay, now we have to paint the stem of the flower, and we're going to paint it the color black. But watch Miss Johnson very carefully. I'm going to zoom in nice and close here so you can see what I do, okay? I'm going to start on the bottom of my flower, and I'm going to stop right when I get to the elephant, okay? I stopped right there, right when I got to the elephant. Now I'm going to get a little bit more black, and I'm going to start on the other side of the elephant. And I'm going to stop right there. Okay, so I'm not painting on the top of my elephant right here. I'm not painting on the top of my elephant. Our elephant is holding this flower. So it looks like the stem is behind the elephant right here, okay? Now I'm gonna get some more black, and right here, I am going to add black to the top because the elephant is holding it and you can see the top of the flower right through the loop-de-loop. That is how our elephant is holding our flower, okay? So right here, I'm not painting over the top of my elephant. Here I am painting over the top of my elephant. All right, I'm gonna zoom back out so you can see all of my beautiful painting. And now we're gonna go back and we're gonna add the detail with black for the ear and the eye that we drew, okay? So I'm gonna get a little bit of black on the tip of my brush and I'm going to redraw the ear that we drew.
Miss Johnson,
Yes,
Renetta made a mistake.
that's okay. Don't you worry about it if you made a mistake. Mistakes are always welcome here. You wanna know why?
Why?
Mistakes means you're learning something. That means you are experiencing something. Mistakes are always welcome in art class. Don't you worry about it. Be proud of your mistake because that means you're trying something new.
My mom left to go get some food.
That sounds good.
Okay.
So I have my ear painted. If you look carefully, you might be able to see your pencil marks through the gray. That's kind of how I'm repainting my elephant ear. And last but not least, I'm gonna get a little bit of black and I'm gonna repaint my elephant eye. Maybe your elephant eye looks different than mine. That's okay. There's no right or wrong way of painting your elephant. And don't forget about those beautiful lashes that we gave our elephant earlier. If you get a little bit of paint on the tip of your paintbrush and you carefully dab down on your canvas, you'll create those beautiful eyelashes. One final detail that we're going to add to our elephant is a little smile right here. Right where the leg meets what I like to call the elephant nose, you're gonna do a little black line for a smiley face for our elephant. So you use the black to paint the ear. You use the black to paint the eye, the eyelashes, a little smiley face on your elephant. And then I used black for the stem of my flower. Maybe you used green, maybe you used blue or red, whatever color you wanted to use, it's up to you. I put the lid back on my black paint and I'm setting my black paint off to the side. I don't want that to get everywhere. That's going to be messy. And I have a lot of black paint on my paintbrush. So I'm going to wipe my paintbrush in my water. Your water might be a funny color now. Maybe it was yellow for a long time, but once you start to add other colors, it kind of gets like a brown. All right, my paintbrush looks nice and clean. I'm going to dry it using my paper towel. I'm just gonna lay my paintbrush here and squeeze off any extra water. And I'm gonna set my paintbrush down to the side.
After we're done, do we throw the paints away?
If you want to keep the paints and paint on paper, or if you have another canvas, that's up to you. Up to you. That's your paint, your paintbrush. You get to do whatever you want with those.
My art.
Brushes. Return the brushes to the school, or do we keep them?
You keep them. Those are your paintbrushes, your paint. It all belongs to you.
Cool, awesome.
I'm making mine. So you know how the ones like over there in the art class, we get the ones and they're full of like paint and stuff. Mine already looks like that.
Oh, that's okay. Sometimes that happens. That means you're using it. That's a good thing. All right, you guys, this is all the detail that we're adding to our elephants. If you want to decide to add more detail, that's completely up to you. But that is all we're going to do on our elephants. Remember, these are Mother's Day gifts. Celebrate mothers on Sunday and Monday, the 9th and the 10th. We celebrate on both days. And it can go to your mom, your grandma, an aunt, anyone special to you for Mother's Day. Are there any questions about the elephant painting?
I got a question.
I might have an answer.
What's the piece of paper for? Because I got paint on it.
The piece of paper that's in the background, you'll throw away once your canvas is done. We only had this paper back there, so you didn't get paint on your table. It's easier to paint on a piece of paper that you can throw away, but it's harder to get paint off of a table. Miss Johnson usually has paint all over her table because I don't use paper very often, but once your canvas is dry, just leave it there for now. You don't have to touch it. You don't have to move it. You don't need to get paint all over your fingers by moving it around. Just let it dry. And once it's dry, you can throw the extra paper behind it away.
Okay, guys, hold on real quick. We're going to try something. I try this with middle school students sometimes. And if you don't know how to do it, it's okay. You don't have to do it. But in the chat right now, you're all going to type thank you, but don't hit return yet. We're going to do something called a waterfall. So in the little chat, you can type thank you. If you want to put Miss Johnson, you can, but don't hit return until I say hit return. And we're going to make a waterfall of thank yous come up on the screen. You could type thank you PTO. You can type thank you Miss Johnson. You could say thank you everyone. Just put a thank you in there somewhere. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to type it. You don't have to. Don't worry if you don't know how to do this. It's okay. I just think some of you know how to do this, so we're going to try it. And then when I say go, you're going to hit return and you're going to see a waterfall of thank yous, and it looks so cool. Don't hit thank you yet. Type thank you, and then we're going to try our waterfall, but don't hit return yet. Oh, some of you are starting the waterfall too soon. Oh wait, don't hit it yet. Just type thank you. Don't do anything yet.
Sorry.
It's okay, do it again. Type thank you again, but don't send it. I'm gonna give you guys a few more seconds to put in those thank yous. And I love how some of you were making your elephant very unique and different. Some of you put a bow. I think Zelda had a little bow on her elephant. I think some of you made your own color for the flower. I think I saw somebody with a pink flower.
I put blush.
Oh, blush. Ooh, she's a fancy elephant. I contoured my elephant. I don't know if any of you know what contouring means. Maybe some of the mommies out there. Anyways, okay. I think we've all typed our thank you. On the count of 3, you're gonna hit return. 1, 2, 3, hit return. We did it. That's called a waterfall.
Abby.
All right, Mr. Coleman, are you gonna show us your elephants?
Sure.
That's mine too, okay?
All right, we're gonna look at Mr. Cole. Everybody find Mr. Coleman. Let me find him. Oh,
that's
that's-
so good.
that's a very fancy flower your elephant is holding.
Very
He's painting.
Mr. Coleman, I want to see his flower.
Here you
All right, you know
go.
what? I'm gonna put him on the screen. Spotlight for everyone.
Whoa.
Can you guys see
Wow.
that?
Can I share Joey?
It may go like this. I'm not sure.
Whoa.
Good job, Mr. Coleman.
Thank you, Ms.
And
Johnson.
this was amazing. All right, Miss Johnson's gonna stop sharing her screen because she wants to see everybody's, because right now she can only see hers. And then if you can, don't mess up your painting. If it's very wet, don't hold it up if you feel, oh, this is too wet. But if you can hold it up, maybe show Miss Johnson right now.
These are all so beautiful. I love when they, oh yes, there is a bow. I do see different color flowers. These came out so nice, you guys. I love it. I saw someone draw a tulip. How nice. Fancy. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh my goodness. That came out so good. Is that Zach's? That's beautiful.
My sister did a color lily.
I'm inspired by Zach's painting. These are so good. Oh, you guys did such a fantastic job.
I think we'll
Great.
send out a
I don't know
Padlet
how to
link so
show
you guys
them
can
my
take your
elephant.
picture and share your art later. All right. Well, good job, everybody. Don't forget, I'm going to send this video out and you can try it again if you have more paint, maybe on paper if you don't have a canvas. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, PTO. This was a great family event. And I think we're definitely going to have to do this again. Give me a thumbs up if we should do it again. Maybe not this year. We don't have a lot of time. And maybe next year. Yes. This was a big thumbs up.
Yes.
Hey, real quick, I'd like all the kids there, who's ever there with you, if it's your mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, big brother, whoever that is, make sure right now you thank them, because they either brought you to school to pick up the paints or they called in and asked for the paints. But please do me a favor right now, on the count of 3, please thank whoever you're with right now for helping out with this. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Thank you. All right, appreciate it. And real quick before we leave, Miss Merlot, I don't want to put you on the spot, but Miss Merlot, if you were out there, did you have anything that you wanted to say?
Hello, how's it going, everyone? Thank you so much for joining us. This has been amazing. And this is definitely another event that we're going to have to recreate next year. So thank you again. It's been wonderful. This was a nice Mother's Day gift. I got to spend time with my girls, and I see so many wonderful artists out there. You guys are amazing. So thank you for supporting PTO. Thank you for supporting our event. Next week, don't forget, let's celebrate our teachers and our staff. It's Staff Appreciation next week. And PTO is going to do some wonderful things for our staff. So help your kids get a nice something going for your teachers and the staff on campus. Okay, thank you all again. Have a good evening.